Sold 120, sir. What's your number?
Supply and demand, you know.
From the serious to the curious, thousands turn out for a San Diego County estate auction. The auction takes place 6 times a year, but this time it was different. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bill Gaines. Today's auction included items that belong to the 39 Heaven's Gate cult members that committed suicide 2 years ago. 10 News reporter Kim Edwards looks at what was selling and who was buying.
Mattresses, books, TVs, toolboxes.
It's not what Vicky's buying that makes this county auction different.
Everything here on a normal day is something that somebody had in their house and they died.
It's who's selling.
A little morbid.
At auction, the remaining household goods owned by the Heaven's Gate cult. Everything from VCRs.
You know what? These guys are kind of cheap.
To toolboxes.
Oh, this is what they built the ship with.
He's 2,900 on a bid, 3,000 even, yes.
Outside, a bidding war over the cult's truck, van, and wheelchair-accessible bus.
I'm beginning to wonder who's going to end up with this bus. He's 35 on a bid, 3,600 on a bid, 37.
It's a local convalescent home.
Now 55. He doesn't want you to get his bus.
Versus a Hollywood production company with movie rights.
64, you can do it. 64, yep.
And an endless budget.
Last call, anyone else want in at 73? Gonna sell it here, sold here. Good man, G. 7,200 right there.
Had I realized that was Hollywood and knew his limits, I might have pushed it further just to make him pay.
For about $150 to $200, passel of books, including a book on UFOs, alien harvests, and contact from the outside. But the hot items, you can guess, the infamous bunk beds.
All right, folks. We'll start them low, say $20.
Creepy.
Sold right here, 130. Bidder number 3699, 130.
We bought about 7 of them total. We buy them because we sell on eBay.
And I wouldn't want to sleep in it either.
One color red, a bunk bed from the Heaven's Gate complex.
It is odd, you know. I don't want it.
Heaven's Gate had an online following, so where better to sell them than online on eBay.
They might go for a couple of grand each. You never know. Yes, you got to understand there's weird people out there.
Got it for $120, so I was okay with that.
And Vicky got a bunk bed too. She doesn't think that's weird, but eBay, now that's morbid.
There's limits even I won't go to.
With photojournalist Greg Madison, Kim Edwards, 10 News.
Proceeds from the sale of items from the Heaven's Gate cult, about $33,000, will go toward helping the families of cult members.
Morbidly curious as the county held an auction of items belonging to the Heaven's Gate cult. The mass suicide happened right here in San Diego County, and it was the most deadly ever on U.S. soil. Today, people were hoping to bring home a piece of history.
There were the boxes filled with cult members' belongings. There was some artwork and a van. Everyday items like a dryer and pots and pans, even a big screen TV. But these are what ultimately got a lot of attention from auction goers, the infamous bunk beds where 39 Heaven's Gate cult members committed suicide.
That's where they went. That's where they took their trip.
The big news story is the beds right there.
And so were you just curious?
Yeah, kind of curious. See if they're actually going to give them away.
About 700 people showed up. Some were serious bidders for cult belongings here at the county warehouse. Others were just curious.
What brings you out here today?
The purple shrouds.
The items came from this multi-million-dollar Rancho Santa Fe estate. 2 years ago, Heaven's Gate cult members wearing purple shrouds and Nikes took a lethal concoction, believing they'd board a spaceship in the tail of the Hale-Bopp comet. Because of all the notoriety, today's auction drew a lot of media attention. Still, some weren't prepared for it.
I think a lot of people, at least who I met coming to the auction that are permanent bidders, were a little surprised by how much attention was given to the auction.
Other auction goers tried to push aside their squeamish feelings about this unusual sale, just so they might be able to go home with a good bargain.
I saw some TVs now. I don't care who had them, but, you know, I might get one. So that's a possibility.
Well, it took just minutes to auction off the 19 bunk beds. They went for between $100 and $130 a piece. Some people are hoping to resell them on the internet for a profit. By the way, personal items like the purple shrouds were not up for bid. Personal items were turned over to surviving cult members as part of a legal settlement. Proceeds from the remaining items will pay claims filed by relatives of Heaven's Gate cult members.
It was business as usual at the
The infamous bunk beds. They sold for around $20 each.
We buy them because we sell on eBay.
And I wouldn't want to sleep in it either.
One color red, a bunk bed from the Heaven's Gate complex.
It is odd, you know. I don't want it.
Heaven's Gate had an online following, so where better to sell them than online on eBay.
They might go for a couple of grand each. You never know. Yes, you got to understand there's weird people out there.
Today's auction raised about $33,000, which will go to the families of cult members to help cover burial expenses.
Some bidders had a chance to get a piece of history, items left behind by Heaven's Gate cult members who committed mass suicide in Rancho Santa Fe 2 years ago. Among the hot items, the famous bunk beds we saw on Sheriff's Department videotape after the suicide.
Does it freak you out at all that this is...
A little. I was kind of nervous. My stomach keeps getting butterflies when I, walk around in there.
Prices for the Heaven's Gate items range from thousands of dollars to less than $100. Today's auction brought in nearly $33,000, which goes to cult members' families to help reimburse burial costs. A kayaker paddling